China, a country of 1.5 billion people. In the last 3 decades, they've dominated world trade, creating unprecedented prosperity at home. China now has enormous reserves of capital, which it is keen to invest globally and in the UK through joint ventures with UK companies, helping to create jobs here. At home, a new Chinese middle class is now buying cars and other consumer goods at an astonishing rate, creating a huge domestic market. As a result, the trading tide is beginning to turn. There are now trading opportunities for British manufacturing companies to help satisfy that growing Chinese domestic market. Of all the towns in the UK, Shrewsbury is leading the way in taking advantage of this changing global situation by exploiting a unique opportunity in the major Chinese industrial city of Changshu. Changshu, 100 kilometers outside Shanghai, is one of China's newest industrial centres. It's a major city with 1.8 million inhabitants, that's bigger than Birmingham, and it's one of the focal points of the burgeoning Chinese automotive industry. In March 2014, the Mayor of Shrewsbury, Tandy, led a delegation to Changshu intent on signing a Memorandum of Understanding with the Changshu municipal authorities, a historic agreement that would sweep away many of the existing trade barriers, enabling Chinese companies to invest in Shrewsbury and making it easy for Shrewsbury firms to set up in China.
When I saw that Royal Mail closed down, the prison closed down, the Shire Hall cutting back, I realised there's going to be a lot of people who need jobs. And my job over here was to get that trade up.
Included in the delegation were key decision makers from Shrewsbury and West Midlands companies. Some were looking for Chinese investment at home, others for opportunities to supply goods direct to China, or even to establish joint venture partnerships out here, close to their new Chinese customers. The visit was hosted and entirely funded by the Changshu Economic Development Zone, who are keen to bring in British companies. No UK taxpayers or Shrewsbury ratepayers' money was used in creating this unique opportunity. The first step was getting to know each other, and the Chinese hosts laid on an informal dinner on the first night in town. Next morning, the real work began, with each side introducing themselves.
Here is Mr. Yang Yuebun, Vice Chief of the Changshu DRC.
CEDZ explained that Changshu is a city of flowers and water, with a 3,000-year cultural history.
Shrewsbury, which sits in the loop of the River Severn, is also known as the town of flowers.
Changshu is well connected to the rest of China through a modern motorway system. It's also an international port. The city's industrial output is estimated to be an eye-popping $450 billion a year. Foreign investment in the city already tops $25 billion. A key investor in Changshu is Cherry Jaguar Land Rover. At start-up this year, 60% of components will be imported from the UK, and this is an opportunity for UK component manufacturers to set up here. The contingent met Chris Bryant, the president of CJLR China, who spoke about the fantastic speed in which the new facility has progressed.
Had you gone to the facility 11 months ago, it would have been a field. And everything you saw this morning has appeared in the last 11 months. Now, we were doing some below ground work prior to that, but literally April the 16th of last year was the first piece of steel that went above the ground, and since then you've seen what's happened. And I was talking with John just before we started. The speed at which things happen here is just mind-blowing. Sometimes it makes me so happy because we're going to be successful in what we're doing in China. Sometimes it makes me feel really embarrassed about how long it takes us to do things in the UK, but we've certainly got some lessons to learn from the Chinese and how they are able to develop the economy.
The Chinese have their own indigenous car production here too, with a completely new brand, Koros.
Probably the first half of 2012, that is where we started piling works. Our plant really started to grow second half of 2012. The first car we built out of this plant at the end of 2012, we had an extremely steep ramp up in getting the whole facility ready to run. That means to build the plant, to build the facility, to install the equipment, to hire all the workforce, train the workforce, etc. So this all happened within 6 months, John, right? Something like that, 6 months.
This car achieved not only Euro NCAP 5-star last year, it actually came best in class. It was the second safest car of all time tested. So if you're going to have a crash, have it in this one.
In the evening, the delegation was invited to dinner with the mayor of Shrewsbury, a major city in the province with a population of over 10 million people. A man whose importance is reflected in the size of his dinner table. The following morning, breakfast was taken at a holy temple site and consisted of a rare mushroom delicacy called the Buddha jumped over the wall. Like so many traditional Chinese dishes, there's a story attached to it. The 3,000-year-old temple was famous for its Buddha statues and complex Chinese hieroglyphs which are carved into tablets of stone. A tour of the city followed, and a visit to the top of the mountain. Later on, the delegation visited Changshu's leisure park, which is a very popular tourist destination. And they took a boat across the lake to the pavilion for lunch. In the afternoon, the civic and trade parts of the delegation separated into two different meetings. The civic members got down to some serious negotiations with their CEDZ opposite numbers, while the trade delegation met the largely Tier 1 suppliers with whom they were most likely to be able to do some business.
That we made is the vehicle used in the military.
The final day, and the signing of the Memorandum of Understanding at a ceremony conducted with an appropriate level of pomp and splendour. It's a document that will alter forever the overseas trading prospects for Shrewsbury.
Hello everybody, I want to tell you why it was important for me to come to China. Firstly, we've had a number of businesses close down in the last 12 months, and I wanted to make sure new investment was able to come to Shrewsbury. And my job over here was to get that trade up. I also want to see us have new cultural exchanges. They've heard of Manchester and certainly heard of Scotland, but they've never ever heard of Shropshire. And Shrewsbury, they have now. While I was out there, I managed to give them books and show them how beautiful our town is. And I know that they really did appreciate that, and they can't wait to come. And I can't wait to greet them. So thank you for allowing me to go to China on your behalf and to sell Shrewsbury for the future. Thank you.